We didn't start the fire, but the fun didn't start the fire. It was second, you know. So
wow.
right.
Thompson was a big day.
You like that song, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's forget about all that because I want to take you down a little trap door.
Okay, I'm ready. Boo!
It's the 11th of June.
Yeah.
Don't add fuel to the fire. The consequences of anger and grief are far more damaging than the events that triggered them. Marcus Aurelius. Please keep your hands in the vehicle or you may die.
Curly chops.
Curly chops. Where does the mind go? Frimston, go.
I think about fuel to the fire, and I think about situations where you might be struggling to bite your tongue. You might snap back. You might have somebody, a prospect that like accuses you or gets mad at you, and you just kind of like bite back. How do you be a stoic in those times? How do you use maybe a tool like the accusation audit? How do you, it's very hard sometimes because your ego flares up and you think that's not fair, and actually that's quite annoying what you've done. Do you have any like stories from your past?
A lot.
Okay.
So, you know, this idea of like being able to recognize in others, in like how others behave, recognize that in yourself. Mm-hmm. So recognize like, oh, they're angry, they're frustrated, rather than judging them for it, going actually, I recognize that in myself. Well, I've had a call, we have a meeting once where a guy just seemed very annoyed, very short answers at the start. And actually it got to a point where I said, can I be really honest? And he's like, yeah. I said, I've just got this horrible feeling like I've annoyed you. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just leave it there and just, maybe I've messed it up or whatever. And he just interrupted me and went, Zach. Nah, I'm impressed. And I went, what do you mean? He said, just willing to cut the shit with me and even to walk away based on the way I'm being. I just had a bit of a tough call before this and I'm probably not in the game properly. So thank you for bringing it to my attention. Right, full attention, I'm here. Sorry about that. And it just kind of snapped him out of it, being like, I can actually just walk away from this. But more so, not being like, why have I annoyed you or why are you behaving like that? Going, I'm kind of recognising I'm doing something here. It might be on me. Yeah. So actually, it feels like I've annoyed you and just putting it out in the room. I think it's called the cold read. Yeah. Anything for you where you think you've done that?
I could tell you a few times I've definitely pissed prospects off, but I think it's a case of you said it there as well, and especially in negotiation, not being afraid to walk away. And I've had some situations where prospects come and they go, really, really want to work with you, but I don't want to pay an onboarding fee. I go, okay, well, I guess that's it then. They're like, no, it's $2,000. Can we do $1,000? I go, no, there are no discounts. So it's like, we can either do it or we can't. And then it's a case of, yeah, but you're a salesperson. You can obviously do something. No. And it's like, I think I remember one guy asked for a 1% discount, and it would have meant nothing. But on principle, I said, no, we can't do that.
A 1% discount?
He was like, well, just give me 1% off.
Just to say to his
just to say. And I just said, no, I can't do that. And he was like, right, leave it then. And he came back. And I just said, actually, don't worry about it.
Yeah, do you want to work with people like that? I don't want to work
with somebody that's trying to just get their fingers in and scrape them around a bit. Anyway, so that's like negotiation. But the accusation, the cold read, they're great.
I haven't it backfire before.
Go on. I like these stories.
Right, so all things need a full view, don't they? So I met a guy, champion of a potential deal, and he's like, yeah, I love this. Like, we need to do something like this. We really need to like get our heads around it and look at a different way of doing things and blah blah blah. Let's have another call with these two other people who are part of the decision making tree. So I jumped on a call, and actually I didn't do the bit that I do at the start, which is almost like here's the bad things that are going to happen as part of this call. I'm going to tell you this amount of money, this amount of thing. And the third one that I usually throw in there is I'm probably going to have to ask you some quite tough and uncomfortable questions. But I didn't do that because I assumed that this other guy had done the lifting for me. So I jump into the call and I just sort of treat it like an extension of the first call. And after about 10 minutes, one of the guys is looking at me like really, really pissed off. I said, I'll have to pause. Say he's called Jack. I went, Jack, I've got this horrible feeling like I'm annoying you. And he went, well, I am a bit. Yeah, I don't really know why I'm here, why this is in my diary. I'm just being asked all these really tough questions. And I feel like I'm a bit on the back foot. I went, oh, right, okay, well, should we, let's like reframe it then. And I kind of brought it back a bit. And then he just kept looking so annoyed. And I asked him again. And he's like, why do you keep asking me that? And then the call just was like, should we just leave it there? And he went, yeah, I think we should. And then we all just hung up and I never spoke to them ever again.
Oh, it's, and I mean...
And actually the guy who set the meal, I messaged him like, what, no response from or anything. It was like, it was definitely, like, I'm happy to hold up the mirror and say I should have had the discipline to treat that call like a new call.
Treat every call like a new call and never rely on anyone to sell for you.
No, exactly.
So, like, I think that's really, really good. I've had it where somebody's come inbound, booked a meeting with me for him and his business partner, not showed up. It's just his business partner. And then I've probably gone into it and be like, right, okay.
Why are we here?
Why are we here? And he's like, well, you tell me all about you. I'm like, well, no, I probably need to understand why you booked a call. Why are you here? He's like, well, no, that's not how it works. You've got to tell me why I should use you. I was like, well, I'll be honest with you. I can't do that. It's not going to happen. They were like, well, let's just leave it then. And I was like, oh, yeah, that wasn't, I left that one and felt, yeah, maybe.
So we'll end on some tips. Yeah. So I think going into calls, make sure you treat every call like it's a new call, even if it's part of the decision-making tree. Like, treat everyone the same discipline going up. Don't assume anything.
No.
Try not to get in your own way with that. And I think be comfortable calling out the elephant in the room. If you feel it, say it.
Yeah.
If you think I've annoyed someone,
Trust
say
your
it.
gut.
Just trust your gut. And what's the worst that can happen? You can always say, I feel like I've annoyed you, and they're going to go, no, you haven't, and the call's going to move forward. There's nothing bad that can happen as part of that unless you haven't got the discipline and you treat everything like it's an extension of something you've already spoke to before. So listen, let's do it the other way around today, okay? I've been Zach Thompson.
I've been Jack Frimpson.
Remember, you'll die.
I can't wait to be king.